Hey, what's up guys and welcome back to Anime King 3, and today I'm going to be giving you part 5 of What If Naruto Was Exiled from the Otsutsuki clan. Remember to get this one to 100 like as usual, share this to all of your friends in your social media platform, and also guys, go ahead and check out the brand new episode of What If Naruto Was a Hope of the Uchiha clan over on Anime King, and enjoy that guys. And also stay tuned for a brand new episode coming over in Making 2, which I do hope that you guys enjoy. If you're new, yes, you did not hear that incorrectly. I indeed have 3 channels, Anime King, Anime King 2, and Anime King 3, which I post what if on every single day for you guys to enjoy. So go ahead and click that red subscribe button and become part of the Anime King family. And thank you for all of your help and support, and yeah, without further ado, will you say begin this new episode start? The intro. So a lot happened the last time we went off, as Naruto had made his way around, as he had found all of the tail beasts, who just wanted to be left alone. As he came to the conclusion that the Sage of Six Path was not a Otsutsuki because he never heard of a Hagoromo Otsutsuki before. The only thing that he could think of was that Otsutsuki came down here a long time ago and had a child. That was the only way that he could guess, given the fact that the Jube had not been consumed, and the power had been split by this Hagoromo. That is what he heard from the 8 tails. As Naruto met up with the 9 tails, as Kurama was surprised that a human possessed his power, but Naruto told him that he was not exactly a human. As Kurama felt the power was just like his father. As Naruto asked him his name, Kurama was surprised. Most people see him nowadays, they just think that he was gonna attack them, and they attack him back, and Shikaku slaughtering the humans didn't make anything better. But this human, well, not human, was different. As he told him his name, but he just wished to be left alone. As Naruto told him that he would not interfere. After all, he was just an observer. With that, years passed. As Naruto got married to Kushina, Hoshirama and Madara did not end on good terms because Madara snapped. And he said that he was leaving, and Hoshirama fought him at Valley of the End. And that is where Madara died, as Naruto was sad to hear about his death. But throughout all of this, Naruto did what he said. He wasn't going to intervene, as he allowed them to do what they wanted. As long as no one messed with the Uzumaki clan, it didn't concern him. Well, his concern was on Mito as well, who was at Konoha, who was living with Hoshirama at the moment, as her sister was here and was concerned about her as well. But things were going well until Hoshirama decided to, well, capture all the tail beasts as Mito sealed the 9 tails within herself. It turns out that Madara used the beast to fight off against Hoshirama. As Naruto was upset about this, but her coils was all messed up as she couldn't contain all that power so easily. And he couldn't remove the fox from her at this moment. And given the fact that it was, well, Kushina's sister, despite his anger, he allowed it to happen. And Hoshirama couldn't let the other tail beasts as he wanted to bring peace. As he spoke to Naruto about what he was gonna do, but once again Naruto told him that he was not gonna be intervening. But this won't make the tail beasts happy, as that made Hoshirama think about the tail beasts and about their personality after hearing from Naruto, but he still went along with his plan as he spread them. Hoshirama died from natural causes because of his healing ability. His cells were regenerating over and over. He died from natural causes, as Tobirama had grew, and became the next Hokage. As Hiruzen spoke to him as he wanted to know about this Naruto, as Naruto had to take care of some Kumo ninjas who tried to invade Uzu, as he brought them back towards the village hidden in the clouds, all of them dead as he warned the Raikage. He then left. As he left though, Black Zetsu emerged, as he told the Raikage he had a proposition for him, and he's willing to tell him who exactly that was. Not too long after the first Christian war started up, as Tobirama died protecting his team, while staying behind as a decoy against Kinko force, as Hiruzen was quite angry about this, as he knew that Naruto had power, incredible power, and he needed him in this time of war. But Naruto would not intervene, and that angered Hiruzen. But things went bad when Kushina got pregnant. She has been watching herself and her sister over the past couple of years, the same illness that seemed to run in their part of the family. She caught it, as Naruto was shocked by that. She had notes on it as she'd been keeping away from him because she didn't want him to worry, because she thought that everything was going to go through smoothly. And now as she was pregnant, gonna give birth soon enough, she was ill, as they needed a rare component that is very rare to find, a herb. As Naruto said that he was gonna go out and search for it no matter what, he was gonna find it. The only way to use it was to get it back before 3 days, because after 3 days the herb seemed to die. So he had to find it and get it back to them before 3 days are up, as he kissed her and hugged her and told her that he will be back. As Takashi and the other guards stayed behind, as they were watching over her with everything they have. And now everything was stable despite the next war looming on the horizon. But things were still stable, and Naruto will find that herb no matter what. Although, Black Zetsu was lurking in the shadows, creating his plan. So yeah guys, those basically that's what I thought you guys can. Switch across places to check it for yourself, so see you in the new episode. The room was tense, incredibly so. Yes, it was tense, very tense. The reason being, it was the people that were in the room. Area of peace, where none of them will war. 3 powerful Kages. The first to be the third Mizukage, a man with dark hair. His eyes seemed to be closed, but they were partially open, but you couldn't really see in them. The other Kage there was Oniki, who took up after his predecessor, Miu, who fell in the battle against the second Mizukage. And despite that these two men were sitting here, rather calmly, neither of them warring or doing anything against each other. And the other Kage standing there was none other than the Raikage himself. Behind them was their respective bodyguards. The Raikage had his son behind him, A, as they were currently having a meeting. The war was proving more detrimental than they thought. Despite neither of them being on the same side, they all hated Konoha more than they hated each other, because Konoha was being too detrimental to all of them. Konoha had many powerful shinobi, Hiruzen Sarutobi, the White Fang, and many others. Yes, it was hard for them to keep up, despite the fall of Tobirama Senju in the first Great Shinobi War. They thought it would be weakened, but yet, no. It wasn't in any regards weakened at all. Now they were currently in the second Shinobi War, as the war started up just a couple months after. Given the fact that the hatred was still there, despite the many losses, many hatred and contempt was still filling the area. And these 3 Kages decided to meet each other because of their shared interest of seeing Konoha fall. Fuin Jutsu was a practice art that spread around the elemental nation, but Konoha, with their Fuin Jutsu, they were literally unstoppable. And the nations were afraid to send out their tail beasts because of the Uzumakis that were on the Konoha ninja side, that rendered their tail beasts useless. And if they got captured in the war, they wouldn't be getting them back. That is why these 3 men have come together, because they all found their common enemy. They had to make Uzu fall. They couldn't use their strongest power out in the battlefield because of those damn Uzumakis. Although they had yet to intervene, they knew the strength that the clan hold. The Raikage back in the past had tried to wipe them out, but his ninjas were eradicated by one man, the husband of the leader of the Uzumakis. His name was Naruto Uzumaki, a man that was able to brutalize his entire platoon without breaking a sweat. And that man marched into his village and subdued him, catching his most prized attack with a single hand like it was nothing. The Raikage was shocked to his core when he saw that, but what made it worse was the creature that spoke to him that day. The creature that told him that the power this man possessed. But it did not stop there. He went around all the other nations, planting deceits and lies everywhere it goes, about their downfall because of one single man, who they did not believe. But at times of war, things were hectic. Where is he? The Mizukage spoke, breaking the tension that was in the place, as everyone was on edge for some reason. Well, they were not allies, they were just coming together to form a small alliance that has not formed yet, so that they could take down Uza and Konoha. And they knew once that was over and they pillaged Uza and Konoha, they would start to war each other again. Perhaps if they can't find an everlasting peace, well, that was just a joke dream. Nothing was everlasting in this world. Nothing at all. Sorry to keep you waiting, as they watched as the black creature that they all met rose out of the ground. As Oniki sat there, the man looked rather short-tempered. He seemed to not like this at all. As Oniki spoke before anyone else could say anything, this man, Naruto Uzumaki, that has posed a threat to your ninjas, how do we know that it was just not your best? Are you calling my people weak? The Raikage spoke. Well, I've not seen them fight the Uzumaki before, so I don't know what to say, said Oniki. Oh, trust me, it's not that his people are weak, it's just this man is, well, I've already told you the depths of his strength, something that I find hard to believe. You haven't told us where he came from, or what exactly is he if you say that he's not human. Well, I don't really know exactly. I've been watching him for a long time, Zetsu said. As Zetsu was keeping certain things to himself, he just popped up one day. In fact, something I never discussed with you. The reason why Senju, Hoshirama, and Mother Uchiha was so strong was because he trained them. What? Yes, I saw with my own eyes. As the people in the room were shocked, those named. Despite these three men in the room, they had no illusion that they stood a chance against those two men who died some time ago. That is why, hearing that note brought fear into their hearts. The Uzumakis are just getting stronger with their Fuin Jutsu, and with Naruto's strength, none of you stand a chance, and soon enough Konoha will reign dominance over you all. As Onki got out of his chair, reign dominance over who? I will fight with my last breath. Konoha will never subjugate my village. Well, if things keep on happening the way it is, I'm afraid that it will. Recently, Konoha has been speaking to the sand with forms of allies. And if that happens, things will get more hectic. I haven't been able to speak to the Kazekage of the Hidden Sand because of certain reasons, and certain ninjas being in the village. But it seems that the relationship is getting stronger between them. Recently, all of the Uzumakis from Konoha are migrating back towards Uzu for some reason. A reason I don't know. But Naruto Uzumaki is currently out of the village. For the past couple of months he has been leaving and returning, on and off. But just a short span of maybe a week or so. But I'm sure a week is the only thing that you need to get rid of the Uzumakis. And once they are all gone, it doesn't matter how strong he is, Naruto Uzumaki cannot stand up against the three great nations and your powers. Not to mention the three of you, you are all powerful Kages in your own right, so teaming up on him should be an easy way of eradicating him. Zetsu lied. Zetsu did not know the full capability of Naruto's power, because over the couple of years he has been hiding. He never got close to Naruto, never, for Naruto to sense him, and not to mention, he was always merged with the earth, completely submerging his body, to try and blend in with the atmosphere around him, to make sure that he's not caught, because he's worked too long and hard for his goal of bringing back his mother to go out of whack right now, and he would not allow that to happen. So the sooner Naruto Otsutsuki lost everything, and that include everyone he can't hear about, as Zetsu believed that he will leave this planet, well, after some destruction, as the fireworks will be large, these nations don't stand a chance. Zetsu knew that his mother was a being of force and nature who could subjugate everyone under her will. But yet he didn't know how much stronger Naruto was, or if he was stronger than his mother, but the Otsutsuki was not anything to be trifled with. As Zetsu turned towards all of them, as they start to go over their options, meanwhile, as Naruto felt disappointed, utterly so. He had been searching the entire northeast coast. He searched the entire place in the past couple of months, but he had no luck, absolutely none. Things got close the closer she got towards giving birth. As Naruto felt disappointed within himself, a damn herb was eluding him. For the past couple of months he has been returning and going back. Every time he did, she never looked at him with disappointment that he did not find the herb. She just always told him to rest despite not needing it. As he currently sat with his wife, she coughed. As she coughed in her hand, that is when Naruto saw it. Blood. She reached for the rag and wiped her hand. As Naruto felt a pain in his heart that he just could not get rid of. As she held on to him, "You will be a great father, you know." As Naruto didn't say anything as she just held on to his hand, as she was leaning back on his chest. "I want you to protect our child." "Well, I don't even have to ask you that. And tell her about your mother, okay? Tell her how much I know." "What?" "You will be there to tell her," said Naruto, as his voice broke saying that. "Naruto, I know that you love me," she said. "And I love you too. But let's face it, there's nothing that we can do to stop this. I don't want to sound, disheartened, but I can feel it. As the days go by, I'm getting weaker and weaker. I just pray to Kami that I have the strength to deliver our child and make you a proud father. Please, watch over the Uzumakis. Watch over our child. And please don't do anything to Harrison." The reason she said that because she knew that Naruto did not like Harrison. Harrison was pushing his luck as he was trying to order Naruto around. Several visits to the Uzumaki clan in the past couple of months, as Harrison found out that Kushina was ill. Mito had came here. The two sisters had cried together and hugged each other. Mito was fine. She never contracted the sickness, as she felt extremely saddened for her sister. She didn't want to lose her, as she could see the pain that Naruto was going through not being able to find this herb. As Naruto felt pain in his heart once again, she turned towards him as she looked up at him with the most beautiful smile that he ever saw before. Her smile was always just angelic to him. "I'll always love you," she said. "You told me in the past that you could never grow old with me, but I accept that. And in my heart, you are the one that I've always been waiting for in my life. The person that I was meant to be with and love. And I wouldn't give away our pastime for anything else. It has been wonderful. With you being my husband though, you will be left in charge of the clan, which I know you will do them great. You will be the best leader out of me and my father. Because of that," she said, she pointed at his heart. "I saw the way you handle our clan's people. I saw the way you treat them, the way you speak to them. And it is just wonderful. You went out of your way to make sure everything is upheld perfectly in the clan. And I can't be much grateful. I can't be anymore because I'm so grateful to you," she said. "But promise me that you won't let my death," as Naruto once again flinched, "cloud your vision over our people and our daughter. Be there for them and be the best father you can, okay? And the best leader. Can I ask you to promise me that?" "I will," said Naruto, as much as it pained him to say that because he wanted her to live. He had to agree with her. He loved her too much to deny her. As she smiled before she coughed once again, as Naruto looked away in shame and guilt, but she turned his head back towards her. "This is not your fault." But yet he couldn't help but blame himself that he could not find a damn herb. Days passed as she was asleep. The sickness caused him to sleep a lot in the past, as her father had sleep for days upon days. Most of them had thought that it was time, but he woke up after a week or so. And she started to sleep a lot often, going on to 3 days now, but she was still alive, and her body was being kept in the best condition to make sure everything goes well. As Naruto stood on top of the tower, as he wiped his eyes, lately he has been crying a lot. In his life, there was only one person he ever cared about, and that was Urza. He never cared about his father or his mother or any other Otsutsuki, because they didn't have much emotion towards people. The greater beings treated lesser ones like they were nothing but scums and, servants. Urza was his best friend, the one that he grew up with, but meeting Kushina, the love inside of him just blossomed for her over the past couple of years, and he never found himself crying over anyone before. He cried in rage once before after he heard that his parents became traitors to the clan, but he never cried in sadness before. He heard footsteps behind him, As Takashi walked up towards him, Takashi placed a hand on his shoulder. Takashi was Naruto's best friend, as the both of them had been through a lot over the years. Good times, bad times, everything. But through everything they had been each other's best friend. Takashi had a beautiful wife with 2 children who looked up to Naruto as a hero. Although Naruto told them that Takashi could defeat him in a battle, just to make sure that they were proud of their father as well. As the 2 kids were shocked by that, as Takashi couldn't believe that Naruto would do something like that to drop his honor, but in the Uzumaki clan, people didn't much care about honor. What most they care about was their family and love they have for one another. As Takashi just placed a hand on Naruto's shoulder, not saying a single word as he knew that his friend was going through a lot. I can't let her die, said Naruto. For him, he never had to experience grief like this before. So it was hard on him more than anything. I can't just watch her die like this. I have to find it. I just need that single damn herb. It's gonna take me a longer time to return back, said Naruto. Are you sure that this is a wise time to leave, said Takashi. With her state, I know, said Naruto. But if I do get in return, I can save her life. I don't want her to die yet, said Naruto. She has a long life ahead of her. Her Uzumaki longevity would make sure of that. As Naruto knew that despite her age, she looked as radiant as ever. Takashi gave Naruto a nod. I will have her on constant watch. Around the clock, he said, no matter what, we'll keep her safe. You just go do what you have to do. I believe in you, said Takashi. Thank you, old friend, said Naruto, as Takashi gave Naruto a smile. Meanwhile, at Konoha, there was some resentment between Hiruzen and Sarutobi, and Danzo Shimura. Danzo never liked the fact that Hiruzen was chosen as the Hokage. But if they could agree on one thing, it was that both of them hated Naruto. Danzo hated Naruto because of his arrogance, as he had once spoken to him before, just once. And he tried to get him to help Konoha more so than often. But he always said that this world does not, well, certain things did not concern him. That is not his way to enter their battles. And when he found out that Naruto was so powerful, it was quite shocking to him that he was the one that actually trained Hoshirama Senju and Tobirama Senju, his teacher. It pissed Danzo off that he had such a strong ally who wasn't willing to help them in battles that could end this war but was just hiding like some damn coward, saying that he did not feel it was his right or way to intervene. It pissed Danzo off to no end. Danzo had created a own organization of his own called Root. Given the fact that Hiruzen had, well, complete control over the other shinobis, he had his elite shinobis went through hell. They were broken and they were trained to be emotionless monsters. Despite Hiruzen detesting this, he had to agree with it, because Konoha needed as much help as possible. They needed everything. So if he had to agree with Danzo's dark ways to make sure that Konoha comes out on top, he couldn't be a failure. Tobirama and Hoshirama believed in him. He couldn't be a failure. He could not be the one to drive Konoha into darkness after all. His 2 mentors sacrificed. He couldn't do that. That is why he was currently sitting with Danzo. As Danzo looked at Hiruzen, there wasn't any emotion in his face. Danzo was calm, emotionless, just like his Root puppets. So we can both agree on the same fact, that we detest Naruto Uzumaki for his actions. Hiruzen sighed. But as much as he didn't like to say it, he did. He didn't like the man at all. The both of them never seemed to get along, as Hiruzen always tried to show him the benefit of joining Konoha and helping them in this war, but Naruto always showed him that he didn't care, and there wasn't a damn thing that he could do about it to force him into a war. And that was what made Hiruzen angry. Danzo on the other hand had something, but he wasn't sure if he should trust Hiruzen with it. The Uzumakis. He had sent out his root forces to blend in. To blend in with certain areas and blend in with certain people. The nations were getting comfortable with each other because they were building their forces to attack the village. Uzu. It wasn't Konoha they were coming after, but Uzu, one of Konoha's greatest allies. As Danzo didn't want them to survive. He only wanted a few of them, which he would send his agents in the tunnels. He had sent them out towards the tunnels where it led from Uzu straight towards the Fire Nation, which he would kidnap them and take them. They had a lot to offer, their longevity, their power. But first thing first, he needed to get rid of Naruto Uzumaki, because if that man ever found out what he did, he was sure that there was no place in this world that he could hide after hearing the things that Tobirama Sensei told him about that man. He never thought that his sensei would actually show fear towards anyone, and the amount of respect that his sensei had for Naruto was out of this world. Because, despite everything, he did teach them and got them ready for everything, but the fear was there because Naruto was a slave driver when it comes to war training. He was brutal, it was harsh, it was terrifying. And that story kind of frightened Danzo. Yes, to the point of him knowing that if he ever went up against Naruto, it wouldn't be pretty. But he knew Hiruzen. Hiruzen was calm despite his rage, and he would make sure that Mito did not suffer. But Danzo couldn't care less about that woman. All that he wanted was a 9 tails as she whole. That is why he will take the Uzumakis, preferably the children. Yes, they were gonna evacuate the children first and grow them as his agents, so that he will be in control after he took the seat from Hiruzen. As he smirked, as him and Hiruzen discussed further matters on the situation, but Danzo never told him about what he found out. Meanwhile, at the Senju compound, as Mito smiled as she looked towards her granddaughter Tsunade and her grandson Nowaki. Their parents had fell in battle. The Senjus were getting slaughtered out there on the field. Ever since Hoshirama's death, the morale of the Senjus and Tobirama, the driving force was breaking for them, and she hated it. They were getting picked apart out there one after another. Mito has been going through a lot of stress. Her sister was in bad health. She could see the pain and agony that it was putting Naruto through, and she didn't like that one bit, as Naruto was like a brother to her. To make it worse, he married her sister and she loved him like family. And he always came by and played with Tsunade and Nowaki. He treated them like his family and he was always here for them. The Uzumakis had migrated back to Konoha because their leader was in detrimental health, and they all had to be there in case the worst happened. She had already spoken to Hiruzen about taking a trip towards Uzu. The man could not refute her claims because she will no matter what. It's not like anyone could stop her, and even if they tried claiming that she possessed the 9 tails, it's a simple fact of making Naruto find out about this, and he would just take her there. But she didn't want Naruto to get more worse with Hiruzen as their relationship was not good. Hiruzen, hated Naruto, and Naruto hated him as well. And Hiruzen really couldn't do anything about it, and that was not what he liked. Given the fact that he was a Hokage and he didn't have any say or could do anything to Naruto. But he had to just, be quiet about his actions. But she was gonna go to Uzu, and she was gonna stay there at her sister's side. It doesn't matter how long it takes, weeks, months, years. She was gonna stay there in her sister's final moments. As she watched Tsunade playing her younger brother, she was gonna bring them as well, for them to say goodbye, as it pained her to think about that. Time skip. A few days later, as Naruto had made his way off saying goodbye to the people, all of them wished him good luck on his journey. Many of them were there to see him off. The remaining Uzumakis were making their way from Konoha as they were making their way towards the village, as many of them thought that they were going to lose their leader, so they had to see her. They had to be there in her final moments. And Zetsu used the opportunity to sneak into the village. Zetsu was a weird creature. Most Uzumakis had powerful sensory ability, but Zetsu was rather weird when it comes towards certain things. Whenever he tapped into the earth, it was like he tapped into nature, a strange, not pure nature power, but a strange, unholy, unyouthful power, which he tapped into as he blinked into the earth. Most would just see him as a piece of rock. That was how powerful he was at hiding himself. He could be the greatest spy in the entire single world. Yes, because of his ability to hide himself. That is why Zetsu was able to sneak in. Once the Uzumakis were returning, he was able to sneak in the tunnels, as the seals were deactivated to let them inside. And he was able to get inside as well. And given the fact that he literally melted down into the ground, he was able to enter undetected. It was his job to destroy all all of the whirlpools outside that would stop the ships, and to break down the entire barrier so that the other forces could come in. But Zetsu wasn't alone, he also had friends. And those were the White Zetsus. His mother had created them. And she was creating them for the exact purpose of fighting against the other Otsutsukis that might come to Earth for her. But Zetsu was using them to communicate. Small spores that he sent underground that grew and made their way towards the other. As Danzo was hearing everything that was going on, the ships were mobilizing as he refrained from telling Hiruzen a damn thing. As Hiruzen was too focused on the war to even care. As everything seemed normal and calm. As Naruto was far away from the Uzumaki island, far away. At the moment he was turning deep down underground. As the place was cold, incredible so, but he did not care. As a flower only grew in a cold atmosphere, strangely enough it survived. But once you picked that flowery herb, it was basically a combination, a strange herb with a strange blue flower in the center. But once you picked it, you had 3 days to use it, because if you did not, it would just die on its own. Zetsu found the perfect opportunity as he sent back the message. The nations got their ships, they got their men, and they boarded and set sail. In doing so, they had to bring forward a distraction, that is why. They sent some of their men towards the front field. Strangely enough, they did not just attack calmly, they did guerrilla attacks. Hiruzen slaughtered those men. Yes, Hiruzen used his forces to bring them down rather quickly. As this was just a, distraction. Those men would be hailed as proud people that sacrificed themselves for their nations, using their life to make sure the distraction was well kept, so that no one would find out what the hell was going on with the Uzumakis at the moment. Everything was calm at Ozu. Everything was normal as usual. Takashi for the past few days had rarely gotten any sleep. He made Naruto a promise, and whenever he had the strength, he stood by her side. He stayed by her side as he watched over her. As her vitals were okay, the medics were working around the clock to make sure that everything went well, that the baby was kept alive, that everything was safe. Someone burst into the room as Takashi got a bit angry that this person would just burst in like this. As he turned towards the woman's face, her face showed nothing but shock and worry. "What's wrong?" "Takashi-sama," she said. "A platoon is heading towards us." Takashi quickly made his way with her, as he was the commander of the army. Takashi was shocked when he saw all the boats making their way as he looked through the scope, but he was confused. They were heading straight towards them, but the whirlpools would stop them. That is why he did not understand. They would take a while to get here, as Takashi quickly started to give out orders to get everything ready just in case. Although the barriers were up, the whirlpools, they were not natural, and any boats, any people that tried to make it on foot would be torn and ripped apart without mercy, as they were the only one that could turn it off, and that was from inside. Meanwhile, inside the base, central area where the seals were activated, Black Zetsu was nothing but a ghoul, as he went through the earth, once again using that strange technique to blend himself with literal earth, to make it seem like he was, the earth itself. And all of them were busy, as right now things were on high alert. People were running around, and that gave Zetsu the best opportunity to do what he had to do. While the platoons of shinobis came on the boats, Naruto was still busy searching the entire place. As he was still busy searching over and over once again, trying to find that damn herb. He should be getting back soon, but for now he would search, he would find it, he would make sure that she lived through this and get to meet their child no matter what. Meanwhile, Takashi was on. He was on the front lines, his men were all ready just in case. The barrier was erected fully, the village was protected. As he watched all the boats came to a stop as the whirlpools were twisting madly. It was then that something strange happened. The barrier started to flicker. An explosion then went off, completely eradicating the entire central room where the seals were kept activated. Hundreds of paper tags underground exploded at once, eradicating the entire building. Takashi's eyes went wide as he noticed something hop right off one of the boats and rushed towards the village with incredible speed. As the thing started to transform, a massive four-tailed monkey, Takashi quickly shouted orders as his people moved into quick formation. The people had to get to safety. The barriers had dropped and there was nowhere to bring them back up in time, as a massive explosion rained down on them as the monkeys spewed lava. Chaos ensued as the ninjas started to come off the boats and ran on top of the water as the whirlpools were no longer spinning as seals. Underground was deactivated. As more explosions rained in the village, Takashi cursed. The man's heart was beating fast as things was going out of inch. Chaos was happening all around him, and Naruto was not here. But it was then that he saw more boats. More boats on the horizon. At least 20 of them, all of them full to the brim with ninjas. And not to mention 2 more tail beasts, as each of the nations had gave over a tail beast. They needed raw power, that is why they stay a distance as they charge their explosive power and send it towards the island. Moments later, quickly, as Kushina was being transported, she was being transported under the underground tunnel to get out of Uza as quickly as possible. They were gonna bring her to Konoha quickly, but Zetsu would not let that happen. That is why he rigged the entire tunnel. He couldn't allow any Uzumaki to survive. He didn't want her to stay on Earth. As the kids were being brought through the tunnel, as they were being shielded by the guards that was sent to them with Takashi, who was fighting violently back at the village. But then explosions went off, destroying the entire tunnel from underneath. One of the guards leaped as he covered Kushina's entire body with his own. Several more did the same thing, willing to die for their leader as a shrapnel, and all the debris pierced them, but none hurt Kushina at all, as she was still unconscious in a semi-coma because of her illness. More explosions and chakra chains went up to protect their leader as they shrouded their entire body. It was like she was wrapped up tightly as they kept it as comfortable as possible as the explosion went off, blowing the kids to pieces as they tried to protect them. But no matter what they did, the entire tunnel collapsed as she was quickly pushed out. As a few members that remained, tears leaking from their eyes, they took their leader, as their people had given their life to make sure that she and the remaining kids that they had could survive. So they took them and ran as the tunnel started to collapse as they made their way out. A scream could be heard as a few of the kids stopped as this strange black mass emerged from the ground and dropped paper bombs in front of them as they went off in a blinding flash as everyone was thrown away. As Kushina's body was protected by the chains of the ninjas that were severed into pieces. But when her body dropped down towards the ground, right on the sand, the chains vanished, seeing that ninjas were obliterated. As Zetsu smirked, everything was going wonderfully so far, as he heard the explosions went off into the distance. They were massive. A white Zetsu then came from underground. "Do you still have eyes on him?" Zetsu said. "Yes." "He's too far away from here to know that anything is going on," the white Zetsu said. "As long as you get it done in time, I'm sure he will never find out who did it or what's going on." Zetsu then turned as he felt something. What the hell? He quickly hid as masked ninjas appeared. They looked around as they frowned. "It's only one left, sir." As the man kneeled down and checked her pulse. "She's alive, but barely." "Sir, she's pregnant." "It's their leader." "Quickly, get her back. Quickly now." As they picked her up and moved off with her, while the remaining force quickly checked over the tunnel and see if there was anyone else alive. It was their mission after all to bring them back, as chaos ensued in the village. Takashi was surrounded by blood. A sword was through his abdomen, and his arms were torn badly, but he still clutched his blade. "For Ozu," he shouted as he moved forward, but he was bombarded with attacks as he dropped to the ground, blood seeping from his mouth. His final words, as he thought about his wife, his children, praying to Kami that they escape alive. As he could not protect the village, him and his men fall after the second wave attack. They managed to take down a lot of the enemy forces, but they just could not cut it after those explosions went off. He told Naruto that he would keep them safe, and yet he failed. I'm sorry, old friend. That was his last thought as he died. As the ninjas kept on pillaging the village, tearing apart everything. But as they searched, as they wiped out the last Uzumaki down to the man, they could not find a single scroll, a single seal in art on anything. That is because the main treasures of the Uzumaki, everything that they hold sacred to them, was in the vault, that not even Black Zetsu could get to, because that was something that could only be opened by the blood of the leader. And at the moment, that was Kushner, who Black Zetsu had to flee from because those Anvu showed up. Time skip. 2 days later, as Naruto smashed his fist, breaking down the entire cannon wall. He didn't know why, but he had a rather bad feeling, as it made him worried about Kushner. That is why he had to increase his pace. As Naruto dropped down the labyrinth, where he saw beautiful flowers, as they were crystallized in ice, frozen. His eyes went wide when he saw something at the very center, as it was surrounded by the herbs. Tears literally came in his eyes. He shot forward. The one flower, it was the only one that bloomed, as it made Naruto cautiously reach towards it, as he checked every single thing to make sure that he wasn't doing anything wrong here. He had 3 days, but he would get it back long before that. But that wasn't the problem. He had to take it carefully, and that he did. As he picked the flower, the herbs around it, as he saw the color dimming just a bit, it's time. As Naruto exploded out of the labyrinth, he landed on his feet as a ground brick as he shot forward, his speed immense as he rippled, bursting through the air like a bomb. As he kept the flower close to him, his hands were coated in chakra which he used to protect the flower. As he kept it close to him, as he made his way home, she was gonna live. She was gonna live. It brought tears of joy to his eyes, as he had to hurry now as he kept up his speed. Meanwhile, at Konoha, Harrison received the shocking news that the Uzumakis had fallen. The man was in his office, completely perplexed. He hadn't told Mito or anything, or anyone else, not even the council. The man was shocked. How did this happen? Just so sudden, how did this happen? It made absolutely no sense. It was shocking to him, as the man was silent until he heard knocking enter. As Danzo entered, looked calm as ever. Harrison, I was quite busy. Our forces, our wind note there, but still, I still need to keep my mind focused on the battlefield. Danzo, sit down. What's wrong, old friend? You seem to be struggling with something. I sent a couple of envoys so that I could speak to Naruto once again. I spoke to Mito recently. She wants to return to Konoha, and I would like Naruto to bring her there. He more than anyone can keep her safe, and despite my clear dislike of him, he's powerful. And Mito has something that this village needs. The power of the Nine Tails is keeping the other village at bay, because they fear the power of the Nine Tails, the strongest Biju. She will not listen to me about staying here because of the tense time. She told me I couldn't keep her here, and as a treaty of the alliance, I can't force her to stay. But she has to return, but she said that she's going on sabbatical, visit her sister. And my envoys returned, saying that the village was destroyed. Hundreds of enemy ninja remain, pillaging and trying to reap what they can. If they had interfered, it meant their death. The ninjas that remain are trying to get everything they can from the Uzumakis. They searched the coast, but there was none of them left alive. None of them going to the tunnel because the entire tunnel, the several tunnels leading towards the Land of Fire, was destroyed, and they were all killed. Danzo was not saying a single word, as Harrison went silent as well. But in his mind, Danzo already knew this. Despite not getting enough, he got a leader who was gonna give birth. She was not in a good state, but Danzo people were keeping her alive until she gave birth. That baby would be a newborn, and he could Well, he could use that baby to be the next holder of the Jinchuriki. It's a quick matter of simply waiting for the perfect moment to take Mito. But still, he has to worry about Naruto, but still. Once he do take Mito, he could just remove the 9 tails from her and place it inside that baby. It will be difficult, but it shall be done. And you will have the perfect weapon for Konoha. And he will be in charge. With enough power and support, he would override Hiruzen and became the leader. As that made Danzo smirk. Things were going perfectly. But now, he just had to worry about the repercussions of Naruto. What about Naruto? Where was he in all of this, Danzo asks. He wasn't there. He was not there at this time. The worst time for him to be gone. Danzo, when he finds out about this, why do you seem worried, Hiruzen? We did not do this. We did not, but the ninjas that were supposed to be stationed at the border, the ninjas that always keep contact with the Uzumakis were gone because I told them to come off their posts because we need them in this terrible time. They have never left their posts in the past couple of years, switching routines but never completely left it, and now, if they had been there, we would have known about the attack and we would have intervened. But now they're gone. What am I going to tell Mito? This is a huge setback on us and all those life lost. As Hiruzen got to his feet, where are you going, Danzo asks. I'm going there myself. If for one thing I have to get rid of these enemies on their land. Will you really waste our forces in this time, Hiruzen? We need them. The war. We're currently winning, Danzo. But these people, they're currently tearing apart the land that were our greatest allies once owned. Like it's nothing but bounties in a war. I need to stop this. Hiruzen, once again you let your emotions cloud your vision. What does that say for Konoha if we can't protect our alliances? Many people depend on us, Danzo. For now, I fail, Hiruzen said. Meanwhile, as Naruto saw smoke, he was concerned when he arrived to see destruction. The first thing he noticed was the ships on the water. A lot of ships. As Naruto touched down slowly, still coughing the herb to his chest. As Naruto was confused. What the hell was going on? As he walked without a single care in the world, because his eyes was not focused on anything except for the smoke and the destruction, the destroyed walls, kunais, shurikens. As he walked, as Naruto's heart froze for a single second there when he noticed the first body. As Naruto rushed over and checked the woman's pulse, she was in her battle gear. She was dead. No sign of life. As Naruto sat where he was. Hey, seems like one of them survived, a voice said. As 4 men walked over towards Naruto. As Naruto looked towards her headband. Kumo ninjas. Hey, as Naruto looked behind him as he saw 5 other men. Their headbands showed the hidden stone. He knew all about them. He then looked over the other side as he saw Kira ninjas coming towards him. Hey, this him. It's him we were warned about. The husband, correct? Well, if we're able to take him down, I guess that will boost our reputation as one of them touched their blades. What happened here? Said Naruto. His voice subdued and quiet. Oh, it's quite simple, one of them said that smile. We killed them all. As Naruto flinched at that. You what? As he still held the flower to his chest. Every single one of them. We obliterated the entire place into dust. Maybe you can help us. We're looking for the treasures of the Uzumaki, your precious sealing art. Do you know where that is? As Naruto got up and started to walk. Hey, I'm talking to you, as the man bared his sword at Naruto, who continued to walk. As Naruto saw the chaos, the man's sword came down to slice Naruto's neck right off, saying that he was not listening. But Naruto reached up and caught the sword. He snapped it and drove it through the man's eye. The man dropped as it pierced through his brain. The others did not hesitate to move. But Naruto was not in the time for playing with these fools, and he raised his hand. A contraption was created. It was a lot of black rods that were just gathered together as he released them. They tore apart the ninjas who were surrounding him. As Naruto kept on walking, tears filled his eyes when he saw the bodies. The young ones. Oh. As Naruto held on to his head. No. As he shot off, bristling past several people. Only thing he saw was a blur. As Naruto arrived to their home, which was completely collapsed, he digged through the rubble as he threw it apart, trying to find anything, trying to find her. But he didn't see her anywhere. He spread out his senses, and the only thing that he felt was these damn enemies. No Uzumakis. As the tears streamed down his face. No. As Naruto rushed off, once again bursting past the enemies, not even concerned himself with them. As he went towards all the escape tunnels, but they were all destroyed, reduced to cinders. Bodies were blown apart as Naruto shoot off as he scoured the entire eastern board. He scoured the entire place. He even dived into the land of fire, scouring the entire place. But there was no sign of Uzumaki's, no sign of anyone passing through here recently. As he couldn't understand. As Naruto dropped towards his knees. As he was still holding on to the flower, he finally found it. She was gonna survive that now. He did not understand this. As the tears kept on flowing. They can't be dead. This must be some sort of sick illusion or game or something. No, they all can't be dead, he thought to himself. She can't be dead. He screamed up to the heavens as a wave of chakra exploded from his body that obliterated a large portion of the area. As Naruto lay there in the depths of destruction, he couldn't find her or them anywhere. His child, his unborn child, his beautiful wife, they were all gone. As Naruto got to his feet, as the tears just kept on flowing, they just kept on streaming down his face. These people, he warned them. He warned the Raikage. They chose to team up together and brought destruction on the people that he loved the most. They took everything from him. They took everything. As Naruto's mind clicked, something snapped inside his mind. As his face changed, the tears stopped flowing. As so long, he has been suppressing Naruto Otsutsuki, suppressing his real nature, suppressing the arrogance, the power, but it was now coming to the surface. Naruto Otsutsuki was returning as he got up to his feet. It's been so long since he used his power because he's been suppressing his nature. It's been so long because he wanted a first start peace, but now they brought it back. As he laughed, not a laugh of humor, but a laugh because he lost his mind. The strain of knowing that everyone he loved, his wife that he finally found the flower for, was gone. His mind broke, and in doing so, his old demeanor returned, and destruction, chaos. It was on the horizon of his eyes, as Naruto Otsutsuki once again showed his face. This world, all of them, were gonna suffer. As he got to his feet, the sky, the atmosphere started to change. Death, carnage, destruction was coming. But guys, be and subscribe right here. If you want to see this part, do like, subscribe, comment down below, and turn on the bell notifications I posted. But I'm off for now. See you guys soon. Peace.